Every crocodile that ever swam into the open ocean eventually crawled back to shore. Every one, except this one. It cut its last tie to land, traded its legs for fins and its armor for smooth skin, and became something the sea had never built before. A warm-water apex predator with the snout of a Tyrannosaurus and the body of a shark. The fossil hunters who pulled its skull from Patagonia nicknamed it Godzilla. And the strangest part is what it used to be. Wind back to the early Jurassic, roughly 200 million years ago. The ancestors of Dakosaurus looked exactly like what you'd expect a crocodile to be. 4 sprawling legs, a long snout, and a back paved in bony armor called osteoderms. They could haul out onto land, bask, and nest on solid ground like any crocodile alive today. Picture a modern saltwater croc, and you've basically got it. Nothing about that animal suggested the open sea. And then, one branch of the family did something no crocodile had done before. It stopped coming back. Why abandon the land at all? Because the Jurassic seas were the richest hunting grounds on the planet. Out past the surf, fish, squid-like belemnites, and ammonites swarmed in warm, shallow water, a feast almost nothing was equipped to exploit full-time. Here's the trade every seagoing lineage on this channel has had to make. Give up the land completely, and the ocean pays you back in food and in size. This crocodile lineage took the deal. But going all in meant rebuilding the body from the bones outward, and the first thing to go was the very thing that made a crocodile a crocodile. The armor went first. Living crocodiles carry as many as 100 bony plates locked into their skin, protection on land, but dead weight and drag in open water. Dakosaurus's ancestors shed them, leaving smooth, scaleless skin like a dolphin's. Next, the limbs, the sprawling legs flattened into 4 paddle-like flippers, useless on land, built for steering. And then there was the salt. Marta Fernandez and Zulma Gasparini, working fossil skulls out of Argentina, found the unmistakable cavities of enormous salt glands, biological desalination plants that let the animal drink seawater and weep the salt back out. Without them, a full-time ocean crocodile is impossible. But none of this made it a true swimmer. Now the most radical change of all, the tail. In every crocodile you've ever seen, the tail is a flattened oar that sculls side to side. In Dakosaurus, the spine itself bent sharply downward near the end, and a fleshy fin grew off the top, forming a true tail fluke, the same vertical thrust-generating shape you see on a shark. This was no longer a crocodile rowing through water. This was a torpedo. With paddles to steer and a fluke to drive it, the animal could cruise the open ocean for days, hundreds of miles from any coast, in water that would have killed its ancestors. The gentle shoreline lurker was gone. What was taking its place would terrify everything that swam. Here's where Dakosaurus broke from its own family. Most marine crocs evolved long, thin, needle-toothed snouts for snatching small fish. Dakosaurus did the opposite. It grew a short, deep, reinforced skull and packed it with serrated, blade-like teeth up to 4 inches long. Teeth built not for catching, but for cutting. Mark Young's team at Edinburgh found the teeth showed tooth-on-tooth wear, meaning the jaws sheared like scissors, carving chunks from prey far too big to swallow whole. Every channel that covers this animal leads with those teeth. But the teeth are the punchline, not the story. The story is everything the lineage threw away to afford them. This was a macro predator, and it had no rival. Put the pieces together. And you get one of the most complete predators the Jurassic Ocean ever produced. Smooth skin and a fluked pail made it fast. Salt glands let it roam anywhere. Paddle limbs gave it precision, and that scissor-jawed skull let it kill prey its own size. Other marine reptiles, big fish, anything sharing its water. At 13 to 15 feet, it wasn't the largest hunter in the sea, but it may have been the most efficient. Fast enough to catch almost anything, armed well enough to butcher it. For millions of years across the late Jurassic, from Europe to Argentina, this design simply worked. Dakosaurus had won. And then, sometime in the early Cretaceous, the Metriorhynchids faded out. There was no asteroid, no single catastrophe. The seas were cooling and reorganizing, and a new generation of marine hunters, sleeker plesiosaurs, faster sharks, was rising into the same role. Paleontologists still argue over the exact cause. The fossil trail thins before it answers. I don't think Dakosaurus failed. I think the ocean simply hired someone else for the job. But imagine it didn't. Imagine a 13-foot crocodile with a shark's tail and a Tyrannosaurus's bite cruising a modern reef, surfacing beside a research boat, then vanishing into the blue. Nothing in today's ocean is built like it. If a crocodile rebuilt into a shark left you reeling, this channel has dozens more stories like it. Evolution's strangest experiments, the wildest bodies it ever tried, every one of them real. New chapters from deep time every week. 50 million years of refinement, a land animal remade into a torpedo with teeth, the perfect ocean predator, gone. The role it left behind is still empty.